prepared, honest and humble. We are the highs. We are the lows. We are the heartbeat of our community. We are the famous black and white. We are the dreams come true. We are the club of opportunity. We are the memories. We are the yet to come. We are Derby. One club, resilient, together. We are proud of who we are. One club, resilient, together. We are proud of who we are and what we do. We are a founding member of the Football League. We are 1884. We are positive, inspired and passionate. We are now. We are moving together. We are ambitious and driven. We are progress. We are change. We are prepared, honest and humble. We are the highs. We are the lows. We are the heartbeat of our community. We are the famous black and white. We are the dreams come true. We are the club of opportunity. We are the memories. We are the yet to come. We are Derby.
Hello and welcome to the preview show from RamsTV. For the first time in over a month, we're here on a Saturday afternoon for a 3 o'clock kickoff at Pride Park Stadium. Derby County hosting Cheltenham Town with a former Derby favourite making his return. We don't like to make too much of a fuss of returnees usually on RamsTV, but we'll make an exception for Curtis Davies. The defender spent 6 seasons at Derby, making nearly 200 appearances for the club, many as captain, and he was voted Player of the Year in 2022. He left Pride Park in the summer, finding a new home at Cheltenham, but missed the return fixture back in October. That means today will be the first time he faces the Rams since his final appearance for the club back in May at Hillsborough. And just to add an extra bit of info to the intrigue this afternoon, the man who sent Curtis Davies off that day at Hillsborough in his final Derby appearance is also the referee for today's game. Anyway, to Derby, there's a bit of an injury crisis brewing at Pride Park Stadium just at the moment. The latest development has seen Tyrese John-Jules ruled out for a significant amount of time following an injury he picked up at Reading on Tuesday night. We've been getting an update from boss Paul Warne.
Yeah, there is. Obviously, it's not great news. He's got a severe hamstring tear, so he'll be seeing a specialist and he'll be out, obviously, for the foreseeable future. That's all I can really say until he's seen a specialist about it. But, yeah, it's bad news for him and the club, and, yeah, I'm devastated for the kid.
I know you've done everything you possibly could to make sure he didn't have a reoccurrence.
Yeah, we've been trying to manage him. He's such a talent. I just wish the Derby fans could have seen more of him, and hopefully they will by the end of the season, but not sure yet. But if you could see what he could do in training and like the lads, you know, he's probably the best player in training, to be fair, the things he could do. But unfortunately for him, his body just has let him down, and we've done everything. The physios have been brilliant with him. We've been monitoring everything. And in fairness, that game at Reading, I actually wanted to play him, and I was thinking, God, I can't put. I had to try and put him first, thinking it might just be a step too far. maybe I could play him, but he played a part in the last game, so we didn't start him, but we obviously brought him on, and for that to happen so early from crossing the ball is heartbreaking for him. And you could see, obviously, when he walked off the pitch, he was like inconsolable, really. So it's so sad, and we'll all be here for him. But I hugged him in the canteen yesterday and nearly started crying for him, because I can imagine all the demons going through his head at the moment. So it's a tough time, and that's the other side of professional sport, really.
All about the rest of the squad and the injury list? Many names?
Yeah, I've got a few issues this week, to be fair. I'm not going to go into great depth, you'd be surprised to know. I've got a couple of fitness tests today sort of going on of risks. I've got another one who can't play, so we're a little bit low on numbers this week. You
had the chance to go top on Tuesday. You've had a couple of chances, I think, to move into the top two at various stages over the last few weeks. I know ultimately where you are on a random Wednesday in January or February doesn't matter at the end of the season. But is there any concern that you've missed a couple of these chances now?
Not so much. I'm not so concerned that we missed a chance to go top and have a parade when we get back to the training ground on the Thursday. It's not so much about that. It's just about winning. That's the thing that gets on my chuff, that we had an opportunity to win and we didn't take it and we underperformed. If we perform at our max and we don't win, I can accept it. But if we underperform and we don't win, then it's much harder for everybody at the club to swallow. So the fact that we were going top or not going top is just chatting it, really. It doesn't excite me in any way. Oh, we're top, because in fairness, then the lads might think they got it sussed, then we're in deep. It's just about performing at a level every week, being consistent every week, and that will be enough to get where you want to be. But unfortunately, it would have been nice to go top. I'm not just saying that, especially considering I had to do a talk at the stadium Thursday morning. It would have been nicer coming in like, da-da, we're top, everything's great. Yeah, we just have to be good at our basics. And if we are good at our basics, we're a really good team to watch, I think. We have different ways of playing and we're a difficult team to play against. But if you drop your standards a little in anything you do, you're just not as great, are you? And that's simply the fact.
Cheltenham on Saturday, not playing like a side in the relegation zone at the moment.
No.
Would you back them to get out of it?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I'd got a lot of time for their manager. I think he's a great guy. I mean, we struggled against them away from home, obviously. But if you actually don't look at the league table, actually look at their form, they're doing well and they're playing with a freedom of, look, come on, which every club has had their time where players just roll their sleeves up and go, come on, we're absolutely going for it here. From the minute go to the end. And look, we watched them play against Bolton. And in fairness to them, if you look at the stats, they had more shots, more attempts on goal, more corners, had a goal disallowed, had 3 glorious opportunities that they'd be disappointed they didn't score. And no one can argue that Bolton aren't one of the 2 best teams in the league. And it was at Bolton. So we're under absolutely zero illusions that this will be a very tough game. So it's going to take everybody, everyone who comes through the turnstiles and the players to make it a game that we need to go and try and win. But it will be a tough game, and that is always the problem. And the lads know this because we've been going on about it for 2 days now. They're well up for what the opposition is, not the league table. Don't worry about the league table, it counts for nothing, as did Tuesday night if you don't play at your best. So we're going to have to be really good to beat a really strong, organised, determined team.
There is Derby boss Paul Warne. Well, Derby did indeed miss the chance to go top on Tuesday. They could go top today. They need a few more favours, though, for that to happen. It's currently Portsmouth leading from Peterborough and from Bolton. Barnsley, unbeaten in 11, are right on the Rams' heels now too. Will Stevenage be able to keep pace with the top 6? That's one to watch during the second half of the season. Today's opponents, Cheltenham, are in the relegation zone and won't climb out of it today, whatever happens, but there's more to their story, which we'll come to in a moment. Fleetwood, bottom of the pile. Carlisle, not too much better off. Let's tell you a bit about Cheltenham's story then. They started this season losing 10 of their opening 12 games and picking up just a single point. But things have changed under a new manager. It took Cheltenham 11 matches just to score their first goal. That came against Derby, you'll remember, back in October. By then, Wade Elliott had already left the club and Darryl Clark had come in to replace him. Under Clark, Cheltenham are a different beast. 13th in the table since his arrival tells you how much they've improved, and they were lucky to lose at Bolton on Tuesday. Mark Halliwell covers the club. He's been telling us how Cheltenham's season has transformed.
It's almost as if those first 11, 12 games were somebody else, in some sort of, parallel universe, the way it's really turned around. Daryl's he's changed the mindset completely. He's come in, he hasn't made many changes because at the moment, of course, we're in the transfer window, but it's only now really that he's been able to look around and do something. He bought Tom Pett in quite quickly as a free agent, but that was all he was able to do. The rest of it was with the same group of players, and the way he's turned it round really is incredible. I mean, still a long way to go, and still by no means certain that we will get out of it, of course, because of what happened in those first 11, 12 games, but he's given us a chance.
What has changed then? What has he changed about Cheltenham to see this transformation?
The main thing is the mindset he's changed. The mindset of how we approach games. In the first sort of 11, 12 games, under Wade Elliott, we were quite cautious. We'd go into games, it would be a case of, let's try and contain, let's see what we can get, see what we can nick, rather than going out there, which is what we do now, is go out there and attack and get on the front foot and say, we're gonna have a go at you. We're not gonna sit back and let you, dictate how the game goes. We're going to go out there, we're going to try and impose ourselves on you and ask you some questions. And that's what we weren't doing under Wade.
You mentioned he has finally now in this window been able to start to change things and add to the squad. Just talk us through a couple of the major deals so far.
Yeah, I mean, the first one he signed was Tom Pett back. That was he came in around November time as a free agent, left Port Vale last year, 32 years old, played for Daryl at Port Vale. Yeah. He's been excellent since he's come in. He's a very calming influence in our midfield. He's one of those players, I think, that when he's in your team, you notice him, but when he's not in your team, you don't. He's one of those players who does the dirty work, doesn't get forward much, doesn't score many goals, but without him, he made a big difference, and so he's obviously made a massive difference to the side. He signed two more this week, who we haven't seen yet, probably make their debuts at Pride Park on Saturday. Liam Kinsella, experienced midfielder, again played for Darrell at Walsall. 200 odd games for Walsall. Was at Swindon, then went to Swindon, didn't quite work out for him there, so he's come to Cheltenham on a free. And the other one's a young lad called Andy Smith from Hull City, central defender, right-sided central defender, who's come on loan. He had a couple of loans at Grimsby, so he's had a little bit of experience at league level. So he's just really trying to shape it up. We had 7 loanees when he arrived. 6 of them have gone back. So he said, no, not for me, because what he basically said is they're too young, they're too inexperienced, and that's not going to work for me in a relegation fight. So Andy Smith is a loan, yes, but he's a bit more experienced. He's played 70 odd games in the league for Grimsby. So when he was talking about the transfer window, he said, I want players with experience. I want players who've played 100, 150, 200 league games, because this isn't the battle for young, inexperienced players. So he had a squad of 30 when he came in. He's now got a squad of 22.
Interesting. And how does he and how do Cheltenham generally approach Saturday at Pride Park then?
They'll have a go. It won't be a case of 10 behind the ball and try and nick something on the break. That won't happen. I mean, we went to Bolton on Tuesday and we were outstanding. We were excellent at Bolton. We lost 1-0, and how on earth we lost that game, I have no clue. I'm still trying to work it out. We had 17 shots on goal to Bolton's 7. We restricted them really well. We had a goal disallowed, which I'm still trying to work out how the referee worked out that somebody was offside, because nobody was. And so that was a bit of a travesty, really. And I think we'll be going into this game with the same mindset. Going out there, we went there and we had a right go at Bolton. And I'm rest assured, Owen, that we'll have a right go at Derby as well.
Mark Halliwell there. Let's have a final word from the Derby camp ahead of today's game. Liam Thompson made his return to a League One starting lineup on Tuesday night after a 5-month absence. It's been a long wait for him.
Yeah, I'd say so, because of having that first league start since, 3 months now. Feels like I've sort of overcome it and starting to pick more minutes up now.
How's the body feeling? Because it's always a big adjustment when you come back after a decent injury.
No, I feel fine, feel as good as I did before. With all the rehab, I feel like I've come back even a bit stronger. So, yeah, I'm feeling good. Do
your personal hopes and targets and aspirations for a season have to change when you miss the time that you did, 3 months or so?
No, I wouldn't say so. I think obviously as a group we've got the end goal of obviously getting promoted, and I think since the start of the season my goals was always just to get as many minutes. You know, obviously it would have been injury-free season, but obviously that's already gone out the window. But I think when you come back you're just hoping to be involved as much as you can and stay injury-free until the end of the season. You were in such a decent run when you got the injury. How quickly do you think you've been able to pick back up again? How do you rate the performances since you returned? I feel like, what was the first one? Oxford was my first real coming back, and obviously got the goal, which was brilliant, and I felt good in that, even though it was only 15 minutes or so. But also had the cup game against Bradford, which we all know weren't the best of games. But I feel like I've been fine. I feel like it's maybe took a few games to feel back to normal. But yeah, no, I feel like I'm doing all right. The team's been on a really good run for a long stretch. Last couple of results not quite up to that standard. How has everybody sort of reacted to that today in the changing room? Obviously, the lads are disappointed, not only with the result the other night, the performance as well. We knew it was nowhere near our standards. But because we've been on such a good run, you know, when you lose one, it's obviously a kick in the throat. You just want to keep going, but it gives us another opportunity now to go on another run. But the lads are still, you know, we're still confident. We know we've got to put it right Saturday and get a reaction. Is it easier to get on a good run knowing that you've done it before? Yeah, definitely. But I think the confidence that is going through the group at the minute, I think that helps, obviously. But, you know, our performances, when you're performing well and winning games, it's obviously the best feeling, and sometimes you don't perform well and get a result.
And there he is, Liam Thompson. Full slate of fixtures in League One this afternoon. Derby hoping for favours from Port Vale, who host leaders Portsmouth, from Lincoln, who welcome Peterborough, and from Carlisle, who host Bolton. It would be good if Exeter could stop Barnsley winning at Oakwell, and if Bristol Rovers could hold Oxford, who visit the Memorial Ground. And Derby's job today is to beat Cheltenham Town, who visit Pride Park Stadium. Overseas viewers can watch this one on RamsTV. Get your game passes now at dcfc.co.uk, and we'll be back here with reaction after the game in the Derby debrief as well. Until then, from me and the rest of the team, goodbye.